I know that it takes a large commitment from each and every one of you to be here. Some of you have traveled great distances, and we are very, very appreciative. So you have your agenda, you kind of know what we're doing. This is training for anyone who is interested in learning more about CART. Perhaps you are in the role of a club chair, or perhaps you are a district chair, or perhaps you are a member of our board of directors, regional director, so many roles. And let me just add that there are plenty more volunteer opportunities available if you are not in one of those roles yet, or if you would like to take on an additional role. And I know, again, many of you have traveled great distances, and we are appreciative. Some of the feedback that we have gotten in years past is what we have used to create the agenda for today. And so the first thing you will see on there is the 5 W's. And you guys know that I am a journalist by trade, and so every lead, it's not if it bleeds, it leads. It's the 5 W's, which are the most important part of a newspaper or journalistic story. And so I wanted to share with you today some information that many of you are going to look at and go, I've known this forever, she's not telling me anything new. But we all need to be reminded of it sometimes. And perhaps as you are preparing presentations or answering questions to people in your districts, some of this information will be helpful as well. So we begin with, who are we? And of course, we all know that the CART Fund was founded by Roger Ackerman from the Rotary Club of Sumter, South Carolina, who is no longer with us, but we continue to maintain his mission, which was that 100% of every dollar that you donate to CART continues to go to research. But we are a separate 501c3 nonprofit organization registered in the state of South Carolina. And the important part about that is to recall and to remember that we are not a Rotary International partner. We are a separate 501c3 nonprofit, just like many other nonprofits in your community that your club and your district partner with. We can be considered a club partner and a district partner, but we are not a Rotary International partner, and that is not a bad thing. I don't say that negatively. It's okay, because we have a separate board of directors, we have a separate policies and procedures, we have our own Secretary of State filings and all of that. So we are fortunate that we can partner with clubs and districts around the country, but we are a separate nonprofit organization. Our board of directors is made up of 2 voting members from each participating Rotary district, and we're going to talk about those a little bit later, and that is the district CART chair and also the district governor nominee. Well, we continue with who we are. We talk about some of our grant highlights, and this is what we have done. Another important W. Our first grant was awarded in 1999 for $100,000 to Dr. Alan Levy from Emory University. And as many of you know, Dr. Levy continues to be involved and support our organization as the chair of our scientific review panel. But I think it's important to note that what began in 1999 with our first grant has continued to grow. As you will see, this year we will exceed $11 million in research grants that has been distributed. Isn't that incredible? In July of 2003, if you look at our timeline, is when the first contributions exceeded $1 million, and in 2008 was the first time that we awarded multiple grants in one year. And by 2019, we gave out for the first time $1 million in 1 year. So also when we think about our what as one of our 5 W's, again, we continue our original mission of 100% of all contributions going to research, and remembering that we have raised more than $11 million through 64 different grants since 1999 when the first award was given out. One of the things that people ask us is what makes our grant process unique, and this is something that we hope that you will always remember and share with people, that we provide cutting edge grants, seed grants, if you will, that provide institutions an opportunity to gather data and research that they can then use to apply for larger grants throughout the years through NIH, through Big Pharma, through federal government grants and all of that. But our seed grants, we are told by our researchers, are very, very important. Now, having said that, I will tell you that there is a conversation ongoing right now between the Scientific Review Panel and the Executive Committee to evaluate how we do our grants. As they think that after 20 years of doing this, it's time to reevaluate our process and make sure that we're continuing to meet the needs of our researchers. One of the things that made us so popular back in the original day was that we were helping young scientists who wanted to prove some data that they didn't have access to do other ways. Today, we are told that the NIH and other funding opportunities can give much larger grants with much less work and effort to make the application process. And we want to make sure that we're not leaving anyone behind, but that we're also attracting the highest quality of applicants. So I tell you that just so that you'll know that moving forward, we do want to make sure that you continue to hear what the process is, what we're doing, and make sure that you're aware of everything that we're doing as well. So what's new for the CART Fund? This past year, as you know, we continue to grow our online donor portal, which is mycartfund.org, our partnership with DAC-TB, and we are thrilled about that. It is continuing to grow every single year. We will continue to promote that, and you're going to hear a little bit more about that partnership a little bit later. But what's really important is that we are the voices of CART. Those of you in this room and the people that you go back and share your story with. And it is important that we encourage people to use this donor portal. The only way to really ensure that every dollar donated gets attributed to the right club, the right individual, the right district, is to do that online. And there are a few instances of donations that cannot be done online, and you'll hear about that as part of the portal training as well. But for the most part, we want everyone to use the donor portal. It simplifies the process. It makes sure that the right club and the right district are being accredited, being given credit for the donations, and it's really important that we continue to promote that. We do have a separate nonprofit organization, a supporting organization called TRAC, it's CART spelled backwards, and it can accept gifts for administrative and operating costs. And this is something that you will continue to hear more and more about in the upcoming year. Things are expensive. If you notice, the blue buckets that are on your tables today have stickers on them with our new Donate Now QR code, our new logo, and you'll be hearing a little bit about more of that a little bit later as well. But it is time to purchase new buckets, and they are not cheap. So we're going to be looking for corporate sponsors for things like administrative and operating costs. And so, for example, the Rotary Club of Greenville made a donation today to TRAC to help underwrite the cost of this meeting today and tomorrow. And we are very grateful for that. It's one of those things that we want to continue to live by our mission of 100% of your donations going to research. The only way that we can do that is to continue to support TRAC. We have some investment programs now that are also helping us with that. So we're very excited about that. You're going to be hearing more about that in the future as well. And of course, what's mostly new is our brand new logo, our new website, and our new branding materials. The new website rolled out on October 1. The new logo at the same time, and we're in the process of putting out new promotional materials and collateral. You will see a copy of a postcard that is out on the registration desk when you came in. If you have not seen those, we've been using them for pets and district conferences for the last few months. We ordered 3,000 because that's what we could afford at the time, and those are gone. So we have just placed another order for more. Those should be at my house by the end of this week, and we will start to distribute those as we can. But if you can work with your club or your district to have some operating expenses to use for things like branding and publicity and promotional materials, we can help you order those as well. Or if you know someone that would like to make a donation to TRAC and can help us with those expenses. But we are rolling those out as fast and as quickly as we can. The other thing that was new this year was our new online apparel store. You can see the shirt that I'm wearing, several other folks, I think Michelle has ours on, several other people ordered them. Rolling out the new logo, of course, that's it, but also the online apparel store. I will tell you that we set that up, we paid an administrative fee to set up the online apparel store with the goal of using it as a fundraiser for TRAC, so that a percentage of everything that you purchase will go back to TRAC. I don't know how much longer we will do this because people are not using it. And so I don't know if there are issues and reasons why you don't like it, don't want it after we ask for it. Please let me know. There is an expense to it every month. And so far we have paid every month instead of making any money. So that's a monthly expense that we can open and shut based on need. It is not currently open because we have closed it for the summer. Perhaps there's different items that you would like to have. You can let me know that, and we will be happy to look at that moving forward. But we worked with a Rotarian to set up the store to try to keep costs on target or a little bit below what the major licensed vendors use for Rotary products, and we are not selling as many as we had hoped. So, okay, I would be remiss if I didn't say what's new right now is the fact that we are on the cover of the Rotary magazine this month. Isn't that incredible? I know Norm deserves a lot of credit for making that happen. A lot of folks have worked on this for many, many years. And if you thought I was busy before, you should be my cell phone this past week. It is exciting. We're going to be adding a lot of new clubs and districts and individuals moving forward. And that's all the more reason that we continue to make sure that our core group of volunteers, those of you who are in this room, are as fully educated and aware of everything that we're doing as you can be. And so again, I say thank you for being here because we are counting on you to help us share these stories. So people ask, where are we as one of the 5 W's? We are supported currently by more than 440 Rotary clubs in 25 Rotary districts. The majority of those are in our 2 paired zones here on the East Coast. But this week alone, I've spoken to people in probably 7 new Rotary states and districts. And so we're going to be growing, which is all the more reason, again, that we have a consistent message and that we are branding ourselves appropriately. We are also, for your information, for those who haven't heard this before, and I know some of you have heard this from me a million times, so I apologize, but again, it's really important information that we are a founding member of the Rotary's Alzheimer's Dementia Rotary Action Group, and that gives us a direct in to Rotary. And so while we're not a Rotary International partner, we are a part of a very important aspect of Rotary, and that is an action group. All right, so what's next for us is continue to expand our reach beyond Rotary Zones 33 and 34 and to increase our giving and awareness beyond Rotary clubs and beyond members, because quite honestly, there is no reason that we aren't working with groups outside of Rotary. And I know I've preached that, if you will, for many, many years, but I think that going forward, it is going to be equally important that all of us take an opportunity to share our story with folks that are outside of our Rotary clubs and our districts. And that's one of the reasons we did a complete overhaul of our website and our branding so that we're not breaking any trademark and infringement rules by using the Rotary cog, but it also gives us an opportunity to spread our message to much larger groups. And so I hope that you will continue to help us as we look at what's next there. The other thing that's really important that is what's next is ongoing. We unveiled in October a new recurring giving program called the Roger Ackerman Circle. And many of you in this room have a limited edition pin. If you have signed up and you have not gotten your pin yet, we have those here with us this weekend. I would love to take a picture with you so that we can share it on our social media and we're trying to create an album, a photo album on Facebook of all of those folks. We are over 100 now, which is really great news, absolutely. But there is room for more, obviously. And I do want to give a special shout out to Glenda Kessler's district, 6920. They are the first district to have everyone in their governor line to sign up as a recurring donor. And that is huge. And so we were able to recognize them at their district conference this weekend. But we continue to ask all of you to not only sign up to become a recurring donor, but to encourage others to do that. Make that a part of your presentation. It accomplishes a lot of goals. It's consistent funds coming in. It's also for people who don't have change in their pockets and are unable to throw spare change in the buckets. But the other piece of it is it continues to encourage people to use the online donor portal, and that is so, so important. If anyone questions why we continue to do what we do and why we continue to fund these seed grants, let me remind you of the research study that we funded many, many years ago by a researcher who was looking at eye exams in the retina, and she received national media attention this past year for her research, and that was funded originally by CART. If you missed that story, it was also in our newsletter, on our website, and on our Facebook page. So I try to continue to share these stories when we hear them. But that is an incredible success story that we need to be sharing and letting people know about. And there are a lot of other success stories. We don't have a cure, a prevention, or a treatment for this disease yet, but we are often reminded by our researchers and by other medical professionals that it took 30 years to find a treatment for AIDS. We are still undergoing research to look for treatments for specific cancers. It is a work in progress, and our work is very, very valuable. Your work and your support is very much valuable and appreciated. And so we want to make sure that we continue to share our why. And then finally, we want to make sure that you're following all of our methods to share our information with you. Public image is so important. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. But we are on Facebook. We are on Twitter. We do have a YouTube channel where all of our videos are shared as soon as I can get them downloaded, edited, and back uploaded. And of course, the new website, cartfund.org. So the 5 W's are really important when we think about the message that we're trying to share. It is critical that we get people directed to these locations so they can get all of our information, because we are a small group, a mighty group, a vocal group, but our message has to be shared on a larger audience, and this is the way that we can do that.